You ever wake up in the morning and just feel drained? Like you slept, but you didn't rest? I used to think that was just part of getting older. You hit your 60s, and suddenly everyone expects you to slow down, nap more, and drink more coffee than water. But let me tell you something. Aging doesn't have to mean dragging your feet through the day. I'm 65, and these days, I wake up with more energy than I did in my 40s. No magic pills. No 10-step miracle plan. Just a simple morning routine that works with my body, not against it. Now, I'm not saying I leap out of bed like a 20-year-old gymnast, but I no longer hit snooze 5 times or stumble toward the coffee machine like a zombie. There's a method to it, and I want to share that with you, because if I can feel this good at 65, I know you can too. Science is finally catching up with what a lot of us have quietly discovered through trial and error. Morning routines matter. A lot. According to a study published in the journal Frontiers in Human Neuroscience, consistent routines help regulate your circadian rhythm, improve cognitive function, and even boost immune health. And here's the kicker. The earlier you set the tone for your day, the better your brain and body perform over the next 12 to 16 hours. We're talking real, measurable boosts in energy, focus, and even emotional resilience. So in this video series, I'm going to walk you through exactly what I do each morning to feel energized, balanced, and ready to take on the day. Not just once in a while, every day. From the moment I wake up to the way I eat, move, and mentally reset, every step has a purpose. And today, we're diving into the first few key habits that laid the foundation for everything else. Before we keep going, I'd love your help with something. If you're enjoying this video so far, comment Y below. If not, comment N. It helps me know what's working and what to improve. And don't forget to hit subscribe if you haven't yet. Now let's dive deeper. Let me start at the very beginning. What happens in the first 5 minutes after I wake up? This used to be the most chaotic time of my morning. I'd check my phone, glance at the news, maybe scroll through emails. Basically, I'd start my day absorbing other people's stress. Not anymore. These days, I wake up and just lie there for a moment. I do a mental body scan, starting from the top of my head and moving down. I ask myself, how do I feel? Any tension in my neck? How's my breathing? This little habit brings awareness back to my body and slows my thoughts before the day begins. Then, and this is crucial, I expose myself to natural light as soon as possible. I open the curtains or step outside onto the porch, even if it's cloudy. According to researchers at the National Institutes of Health, early light exposure resets your internal clock and boosts production of cortisol in a good way. It gives your brain the signal that it's time to be alert and active. Even just 5 to 10 minutes can make a massive difference. Now, I know some of you are thinking, I'm not a morning person. Trust me, I wasn't either. But your body can learn to be, especially if you give it the right cues. Light is one of the most powerful of those cues. After that, I drink a big glass of room temperature water with a splash of lemon. This one's simple, but it sets everything in motion: hydration, digestion, even mood. Studies show that mild dehydration, even just 1–2%, can make you feel sluggish, irritable, and mentally foggy. First thing in the morning, your body is naturally dehydrated from the night. So instead of coffee, I give it what it's really craving: water. The lemon? It's not just for flavor. It adds a bit of vitamin C and may help stimulate the liver's detox process, though that part's still debated in scientific circles. What's not debated is how it feels. I feel sharper, more awake, and lighter after drinking it. That simple shift from grabbing coffee to grabbing water was one of the biggest game changers in my morning energy. Then I move gently. I'm not talking about full-on workouts or intense yoga flows. I'm talking about 5 to 10 minutes of light stretching and mobility movements. Sometimes I do arm circles, sometimes I roll my shoulders, sometimes I just sway side to side while doing deep breathing. The goal isn't to exercise. It's to wake up your joints, get your blood flowing, and reconnect to your body. A 2020 study in the Journal of Aging and Physical Activity found that older adults who included even low-intensity movement in their morning routine had better overall mobility and reduced inflammation throughout the day. And inflammation is a big deal when it comes to fatigue, especially as we age. Reducing it naturally? That's priceless. And here's the best part. These small things build momentum. Once you've had your light, your water, and your stretch, you're already ahead of most people. You've done 3 great things for your energy before breakfast. And that momentum? It's like rolling a snowball downhill. Now I'll tell you, this didn't happen overnight. I didn't suddenly wake up one day and become a Zen morning warrior. It took trial, error, and plenty of mornings where I just didn't feel like doing anything. But once I started feeling the difference, how calm, focused, and energized I felt, I was hooked. And that's just the beginning. In the next part of this video, we're going to talk about how I fuel my body after I've gently woken it up, what I eat, what I don't eat, and the surprising food habit that completely changed my energy levels by 10 a.m. Trust me, you're going to want to hear this. See you there. Before we begin, I want to make one thing clear. This video is for informational purposes only and is based on publicly available research. Everyone's health is different, so always consult your doctor or a qualified healthcare provider before making any changes to your lifestyle, diet, or exercise routine. Scientific knowledge is always evolving, and what works for one person may not work for another. Now, let's keep going. So we've talked about how I wake up, light exposure, lemon water, gentle movement. Those first few minutes are key, but let's be honest, what you eat next can either lift you up or send you straight back to the couch. For me, breakfast isn't just about filling up. It's about fueling right. I used to reach for a quick bowl of cereal or toast with jam. It felt easy, comforting. But about an hour later, I'd crash hard. I'd start yawning, my thinking would slow, and I'd feel like I needed a nap before 10 a.m. Sound familiar? That's the blood sugar roller coaster. And after 60, your body just doesn't tolerate it the same way it used to. So I made a shift. These days, my breakfast is protein-focused with healthy fats and fiber, a combination that keeps my energy steady and my brain sharp all morning long. Here's what that might look like. A couple of scrambled eggs cooked in a little olive oil or grass-fed butter, half an avocado sliced on the side, and a small bowl of berries, blueberries, raspberries, whatever's in season. If I'm in the mood, I'll add a piece of sprouted grain toast or some cooked quinoa. Nothing fancy. But here's the magic. Every part of that meal plays a role in energy and brain health. Let's break that down quickly. Eggs give me high-quality protein and choline, a nutrient that supports brain function and memory. Studies have shown that older adults who consume more choline tend to perform better on cognitive tasks. Not bad for something that takes 5 minutes to cook. Avocados are rich in monounsaturated fats and potassium. That's heart-healthy fuel that also keeps you feeling satisfied longer. A study in nutrients found that avocado consumption is linked with better diet quality and lower body weight, especially in older adults. Berries? Tiny but powerful. Blueberries in particular are rich in antioxidants that help protect the brain from oxidative stress. Some research even suggests they can help delay brain aging by up to 2.5 years. That's incredible. And when I combine these foods, I feel full, not heavy. Energized, not jittery. My blood sugar stays stable, which means no mid-morning crashes or cravings. But here's another important habit I added. I don't eat as soon as I wake up. I give my body time to fully wake up and digest those early signals, sunlight, water, movement, before I introduce food. That window might be 30 minutes, sometimes an hour. It's a light version of intermittent fasting, and for me, it works wonders. I feel more clear-headed and more in tune with my hunger signals, not just eating out of habit. Now let's talk about one thing I've cut out in the morning, and it made a huge difference: sugar. Even healthy-sounding options like fruit juices, flavored yogurts, or granola bars can be loaded with added sugars. These spike your insulin levels and then leave you feeling drained. And as we age, our insulin sensitivity declines, which means our bodies process sugar less efficiently. So avoiding it early in the day helps keep my energy and inflammation levels in check. One of my friends, Diane, she's 67 now, used to drink orange juice every morning thinking it was good for her. She always felt tired by mid-morning and couldn't figure out why. When she switched to a higher protein breakfast and ditched the juice, it was like night and day. She called me a week later and said, "I had no idea food could affect my mood this much." And she's right. What you eat affects not just your physical energy, but your emotional state too. Foods that stabilize your blood sugar help stabilize your mood. I find that I'm calmer, more focused, and even more patient on the days I eat right in the morning. Now, after breakfast, I carve out just 5 to 10 minutes for mental clarity. This might sound small, but it's one of the most powerful things I do all day. Some people meditate, some pray, some journal. Me? I sit in silence and just breathe. Sometimes I'll write down a quick list of 3 things I'm grateful for, or I'll read a short passage from a book that inspires me. But the point is this: I create a moment of quiet intention. The world is noisy enough, and if I don't ground myself first thing in the morning, it's way too easy to get swept into everyone else's chaos. This mental space isn't just for feeling good. There's science behind it too. Studies from Harvard and Yale have shown that mindfulness practices, like deep breathing or short gratitude exercises, can reduce cortisol levels, improve sleep quality, and even increase energy levels throughout the day. It also helps me avoid what I call decision fatigue. When you're constantly reacting to your phone, the news, emails, it's exhausting. But when you start your day intentionally, you're choosing how to use your energy instead of giving it away to the loudest voice in the room. And speaking of phones, I don't touch mine for at least the first 30 minutes. That was tough at first, I'll admit. But now, it's one of the best gifts I give myself each day. Instead of scrolling, I'm living. So by the time my morning routine is wrapping up, I've already done more for my energy, brain, and mood than I used to do all day. But here's the thing, it's not always smooth sailing. Some mornings motivation is low. Some mornings my knees ache or my mind won't settle. That's real life. And in the next part of this video, I want to talk about exactly that. The challenges that come with building a consistent routine after 60, and how I overcame them. Because let's be honest, knowing what to do is only half the battle. Sticking with it? That's the real test. And I'll share with you the simple mindset shift that changed everything for me, even on the hardest mornings. You won't want to miss it. Let's be honest for a second. Starting a new routine is one thing, but sticking with it? That's the hard part. I used to hear people talk about consistency like it was some magical superpower. They'd say, just do it every day and it becomes a habit. But you know what? Some mornings I just didn't feel like it. I'd wake up sore or anxious, or maybe just in a funk. The kind of morning where even brushing your teeth feels like a chore. But here's the shift that changed everything for me. I stopped aiming for perfect. I started aiming for progress. When I first tried building this morning routine, I expected myself to get it all right all the time. And when I didn't, I'd get discouraged, slip into old habits, and tell myself, maybe this just isn't for me. But then I realized, it's not about getting it right every day. It's about returning to it every time you can. Some days, I just do the light, the water, and a few stretches. And that's okay. Those little wins still matter. There's a quote I love: success is nothing more than a few simple disciplines practiced every day. Not perfection, just discipline, practiced with compassion. That said, I did run into some real challenges along the way. And maybe you have too. For one, aches and stiffness. At 65, my body doesn't always feel like moving in the morning. But what I've learned is this: movement heals. The trick is starting small and listening to your body. I don't force it. I coax it. Some mornings I'll start with just breathing in bed, rolling my ankles, stretching my arms overhead. Then maybe I'll sit up and do some seated twists or gentle side bends. Once the blood starts flowing, the stiffness eases. And if it doesn't, I rest. That's part of the routine too, honoring how your body feels that day. Another challenge? Mental fatigue. Some mornings I'd wake up feeling mentally foggy, like my brain just hadn't turned on yet. And I used to think that was just age catching up with me. But I was wrong. Once I made changes to my sleep schedule, going to bed and waking up at the same time every day, my mental clarity improved dramatically. According to research from the University of California, irregular sleep disrupts your body's circadian rhythm and actually reduces your brain's ability to regulate energy. Now I aim to get 7 to 8 hours a night, and I wake up sharper, calmer, and more focused. But here's something else that helped, and this might surprise you: a morning cold splash. I don't mean an ice bath or anything extreme. I'm talking about splashing cold water on my face for 20 seconds after brushing my teeth. It shocks the system just enough to feel alert and refreshed. There's science behind that too. Cold exposure activates the sympathetic nervous system, which can boost alertness and even reduce symptoms of anxiety and depression. Another tool that really pulled me out of those sluggish mornings was music. I keep a playlist of songs that make me feel good, nostalgic tunes from my younger years, soft jazz, or even just soothing nature sounds. I play it while I'm stretching or making breakfast, and it completely shifts the tone of my morning. Don't underestimate the power of sound. Music has been shown in multiple studies to reduce stress hormones and enhance mood. One study in the Gerontologist even found that music interventions improved emotional well-being and daily energy in older adults. And when things still feel heavy, because let's face it, life isn't always light, I turn to connection. Whether it's texting a friend a simple good morning, or saying hello to my neighbor while getting the mail, that tiny spark of human interaction can change your whole day. Loneliness is one of the biggest hidden energy drains, especially as we age. A 2023 study from the American Journal of Geriatric Psychiatry found that older adults with regular social interaction reported significantly higher energy and life satisfaction levels. So I make it part of my morning to connect, however small. Now, one question I get all the time is, what if I mess up? What if I skip a day? And my answer is always the same. You don't mess up. You just pause, and when you're ready, you return. That's it. We're not machines. We're human, and routines aren't meant to trap us. They're meant to support us. If I have a rough night and sleep in, I don't punish myself. I just pick one or two parts of the routine that feel manageable and do those. Sometimes it's just the lemon water and the playlist. Sometimes it's a 5-minute stretch and a deep breath out on the porch. And you know what? That's still a win. And here's another mindset shift that helped me keep going. I stopped thinking of my routine as self-discipline and started thinking of it as self-respect. I'm not doing this because I have to. I'm doing it because I deserve to feel good. I deserve clarity. I deserve energy. I deserve joy. And so do you. By the way, if you haven't already, feel free to drop a Y or an N in the comments to let me know how this video is landing for you. Your feedback really does help shape future videos. Now, we've covered a lot so far, from the moment I open my eyes to the way I move, eat, and mentally recharge. But in the final part of this video, we're going to bring it all together. I'll share my top takeaways, one last powerful insight backed by science, and some easy steps you can start today, even if you've never had a morning routine before. So stay with me. The best is yet to come. You've made it to the final part. Thank you for sticking with me. I really hope this journey through my morning routine has sparked some ideas, or even just reminded you that it's never too late to reclaim your energy and well-being. So let's take a breath and casually recap what we've covered. No pressure, just a reflection. We started with light. Simple, right? But it sets everything in motion, our body clocks, our hormones, even our moods. That first step into the sunlight, or standing by a window with a glass of water, is my way of saying yes to the day. Then came the water and the gentle movement, nothing intense, just enough to tell my muscles and joints, hey, we're alive today. Let's move. That light stretching, that breath work, those first steps, they matter more than you think. We talked about fueling with intention. Not grabbing what's easy, but choosing foods that nourish your brain and body. Eggs, avocados, berries, healthy fats, and fiber. No sugar rushes, no crash and burn. Just steady energy. Then came the mental space. The music. The moment of gratitude. And of course the challenges, aches, low motivation, emotional fog. I've felt them all, but I shared how I faced them, not by fighting through, but by meeting myself with kindness. By shifting my mindset from perfection to progress, from discipline to respect. Now, if you remember one thing from all of this, let it be this. Your morning doesn't have to be perfect to be powerful. Even the smallest habit, done with care and consistency, can spark real change. 5 deep breaths. 1 glass of water. Standing in the sunlight for 2 minutes. These aren't hacks, they're acts of self-love. And you don't need to do it all at once. In fact, I recommend you don't. Pick one part of this routine that spoke to you. Maybe it's stretching. Maybe it's turning off your phone for 30 minutes. Maybe it's just making breakfast with a little more intention tomorrow. That's how real, lasting change begins, one tiny shift at a time. You know, there's a quote I read a few years ago that stuck with me. How we spend our days is, of course, how we spend our lives. It's so true. Our lives aren't made up of grand moments, they're made up of mornings like this. Quiet choices, gentle starts, a little structure, a little care, repeated day after day. That's how energy builds. That's how joy grows. That's how we age, not just gracefully but powerfully. And science backs this up. A long-term study published in Age and Aging followed adults in their 60s and 70s who practiced consistent morning routines, ones that included light activity, regular wake times, and mindful eating. Over time, these individuals not only maintained better physical health, but also reported significantly higher levels of happiness, cognitive sharpness, and emotional resilience. It's not hype, it's real. And let me say this clearly, it's not too late. Whether you're 65 like me, 75, or even 85, you can start today. Our bodies and brains are wonderfully adaptive. We're never too old to build a life that energizes us. I've seen it firsthand. My friend Harold, he's 72, used to think mornings were a lost cause. He'd stay up late, wake up groggy, and feel behind before the day even began. But he started with one change: drinking a glass of water and standing outside for 2 minutes every morning. Just that. Within a few weeks, he said he felt like the fog had lifted. From there, he added a stretch, then a protein-packed breakfast. Now, he swears his mornings are his superpower. And all it took was starting. So if you're watching this and thinking, I'm not a morning person, or I've tried before and failed, I hear you. I've been there too. But I'm here to remind you, it's not about becoming someone new. It's about returning to yourself, giving your mind and body the rhythm they need to support you. And if you fall off track, that's okay. Come back. Just come back. That's where the magic is. Now before we wrap up, let me leave you with one final insight from neuroscience. The brain is wired for patterns, but it's also capable of remarkable change. Thanks to something called neuroplasticity, your brain can literally rewire itself through repeated behavior. When you choose healthy habits in the morning, over and over again, your brain forms new circuits that make those habits easier, more automatic, and more rewarding. You're not just changing your schedule, you're changing your brain. And that means energy doesn't have to fade with age. It can grow. You can grow. So here's my gentle challenge to you. Tomorrow morning, try one thing. Just one. No pressure to do it all. Just pick a single action from this video and give it a go. Then, the next day, try it again. And if it feels right, add something more. But always do it with kindness, not punishment. That's the key. And now, I'd love to hear from you. We'd really love to hear from you. If you have any suggestions for future topics or questions you want answered, write to us in the comments below. We're here to help, and your input could inspire our next video. And if you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up and subscribe so you don't miss out on more practical tips for healthy aging. Here's to living your best life at any age. Thanks for being here, and here's to brighter mornings ahead.